Hi there, ClassPad.net users. I'm just doing a real kind of simple activity showing how you can take data from different areas and create an activity from it. So I'm thinking about Halloween right now, so I was reading some articles. So here's the link to the article I was reading, and it had this cool chart in it. So I just took a picture of the chart, put it in here, and now I'm going to make some graphs. So if I wanted to do this with my students, we could do some comparisons. So if you notice, this is it's comparing the years from 2012 to 2018, how much people are spending on Halloween. And so we've got the number of Americans who are celebrating it, what each person's on average spending, and then the total spending. But also note that not everyone who is celebrating buys anything, so that this total spending is not just a simple calculation. So what would I do with my students? Well, I might have them make the data and make some plots of each, so we can maybe find the trends over the years. Are things changing? So what I've done is I've taken each piece of this graph up here and made 3 separate graphs. Why did I do that? Well, if you look at this is in millions for the number of people, spending is in dollars, and then total spending is in billions. And so I have 3 different scales going on, so I don't necessarily want to use the same graph for all of them because the scales are so different. I might not even see this little dollar amount because I'm looking at billions in this one. So I did 3 separate ones so I can make 3 separate graphs that are not connected. So to make the graph, I'm going to use the year as my independent, and then the amount as my dependent. So selecting them, and I have some choices here. So let's go to graph, and let's make a scatter plot first just to see what that looks like. So here's the graph of my years. So you can see that it's not linear for sure, and each year is kind of changing, so that's interesting. So let's see if it's the same type of pattern for when I do average spent per person, which it should be pretty similar. Obviously the numbers are going to be hard, but if you look, it looks like the exact same graph, and that makes sense. Let's see what it looks like when I do this third one. So all my graphs look very similar. The differences being, so this would be a fun exercise just to do with students in general, is they do look similar. They have the same basic shape. A little different here when we get to, whoops. If we look at this one has a slightly different shape, and it's because, remember, these are not a simple calculation, so its shape's just a little bit different. So what does this look like? Right now, just looking at scatter plot, it's a little hard to tell. So I could then go back and do, let's move this down here so that it's over its graph. Let's go back and maybe do some regression. So this is where you can kind of start thinking about what's going on here. What kind of regression might this be? I feel like it might be maybe cubic. Let's see what it looks like if I try it. Not a great fit. So let's cancel that. So here's a great thing. You can just start exploring what is this relationship that's going on here. How can I make a line fit? But what I'm noticing is, just looking at the years, something happened in 2017, right? What's happening in 2017? We're spending more. This is spending. Why is that happening? But then we have a decrease in 2018. So what's happening? So here's where you could go out and have students branch out and maybe see what political things are happening in 2017. Are we in a recession? Are we in a, obviously here, we're spending money, we're spending more money, so we're not in a recession, but maybe now we're thinking we're going towards a recession, so things are going down. And actually, if you look back up here, 2017 was a record year for everything, so that would be a very interesting thing to look like. But then look at what the difference here is. Spending per buyer went up in 18, but our total spending and the number celebrating went down. So what's happening? So these are fun things that you could then use data to explore maybe some cultural changes or some political changes that are going on. So just different ways to think about how you could use data and use things you find in articles to help you then do some mathematical explorations and maybe use mathematics to model what's happening in the real world. So that's all this is about, just an example. I have shared the paper link with you, so hopefully that will be helpful to you.